Hey, I'm here with Kathrine Shurlds, the Militant Grammarian here at KUAF Studios in Fayetteville. We're going to talk about the Apostrophe Act of 2007. So in March 2007, Representative Steve Harrelson of Texarkana made a proposal for a non-binding resolution that when the name Arkansas is written out in its possessive form, instead of S apostrophe, that it officially should be S apostrophe S. so that's a little different. See, my name is James, and so I just put in an apostrophe at the end. Seems pretty simple to me. I feel like that's pretty standard, you know?
Well, mine's Shurlds.
Yeah.
Just an apostrophe. Davis, Jones. There are lots of names that end proper names, and it's a rule that applies to proper names. So that's why the Arkansas things come in.
Yeah. So this was on your radar back when it happened. Mm-hmm. I want to know your response. What did you think of it?
Well, at the time I was teaching full time in the journalism department, and I was teaching courses that required me to teach the Associated Press style book.
Yeah.
So there was no question to me that the Arkansas legislature was wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And part of it is that when I mentioned the AP style book, a style book. There are lots of style books, and a journalist or any writer should choose a style book to follow, because then you have consistency in your writing, and you don't spell T-shirt with a capital T in one sentence and T-E-E in the next paragraph.
Okay.
So the reader doesn't have to stop and say, what's that about?
Yeah.
So I taught the Associated Press style book, and its rule was proper nouns, Arkansas, Shurlds, James, because they end in an S, you just add an apostrophe to make the possessive. Whereas if it were Smith, it would be Smith apostrophe S.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And so when this came up, my first thought was, why is the Arkansas legislature bothering with this, and especially bothering to the degree to make it wrong?
Sure. Yeah.
So when asked, I stated my opinion. I think all those S's make it look silly.
Sure, I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. A few media groups have referred to me as Arkansas's YouTuber, and so of course I'm going to go along with that and put it in my info, so when people check me out, they kind of get an idea what I'm about. So I feel a little conflicted sometimes. Do I want to make sure everyone knows that I'm in Arkansas and I'm in on it. I'm going to do it the official right way, or people that aren't in on it, am I going to look silly?
And you mentioned that it was a non-binding resolution.
Indeed. Yeah.
It's not a law that you have to write Arkansas apostrophe S.
Yeah.
And so there isn't a right or wrong. It's according to what style book you choose. And so if you're working for the state of Arkansas, as I said back during that time, I'm going to tell my students they better get their S's in gear, because they're going to have to put that extra S on there.
I love that. Yeah.
But it's not, it's not right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So however you choose to say you're Arkansas's blogger, you can, I think you should just put the S, but, just put the apostrophe, but you can put the apostrophe S.
Right. I think the way they kind of defended their position on that was that the end of the name Arkansas, you don't hear an S sound.
You hear S-A-W.
So they wanted to add an S, and for Only in Arkansas, I did a video on that, how we came about knowing exactly how to pronounce the state's name.
And it's not Arkansas.
Right.
It is not Arkansas.
It does not have an S sound at the end.
Right.
But
now think about Illinois. That ends with an S, and a lot of people incorrectly call it Illinois. But they have the just apostrophe. So because it's spelled with an S at the end, but you don't pronounce the S when you're just in singular mode, But the difference is if you read the word Illinois apostrophe, how do you pronounce that?
Illinois.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So you're putting the S sound there, whereas when you say Arkansas, you have to really put an S there to hear the S. So,
Yeah.
like I say, it's nothing I lie awake concerned about.
Right.
But newspaper writers, people, adherents to the Associated Press style book, they always want to minimalize.
Sure.
Try to use the
Simplify it, of
fewest.
course.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now, one thing that this brings up is that you can get away a lot of times without being concerned about whether it's apostrophe or apostrophe-S. And that's because, I dare say, I may be wrong here, but I dare say most uses of the word Arkansas as an adjective they're not possessive, they're descriptive. So when you say Arkansas high schools,
Okay.
the high schools are not actually possessed by
Okay.
Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Whereas if you say Arkansas's highest yielding crops, it wouldn't make any sense not to have an apostrophe there.
Right.
Arkansas, okay, there's the name of a state, highest yielding crops. What are you trying to say here? So you need the apostrophe there to show that you're talking about the highest yielding crops of Arkansas. And then another way to get around it, which I very much endorse, rewrite the sentence.
Sure.
The highest yielding crops in Arkansas, the high schools in Arkansas. Just don't worry about it. And then you have to put all those silly S's there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're not legally bound. We're not going to
That's right.
get in trouble
That's right.
for doing it with just the apostrophe at the end. So.
Although your newspaper friends may scorn you. But.
Well, so it's up to each of us, really. We may or may not get someone to look down their nose at us. But that was really fun. Thank you for helping us out on that. And I wasn't aware of that. I don't think a lot of Arkansans know about that resolution. So tell us about the Militant Grammarian and what you do here at KUAF, and I think there's a podcast also.
Well, the podcast is merely that Ozarks at Large is the program on KUAF that I do this segment. And they posted on their page, so I pick it up and put it on a Facebook page called Militant Grammarian.
Cool, okay.
So if you want to get links to all of the things that we do, you can go to Militant Grammarian on Facebook.
On Facebook. Okay.
But I've been doing it since 2005, but not consistently at all. I think I've been doing it for the last 3 years fairly consistently, and we do one a week.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I'm talking about Kyle Kellums.
Mm-hmm.
He's the news director for KUAF. And I think when I first started it, I did it as a solo, just a short lecture.
Mm-hmm.
But people really like the Militant Grammarian.
So.
And what they love about it is the interaction between me and Kyle.
Uh-huh.
And I'm always quizzing him, which he actually likes, but he acts like he doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You bet.
And thank you, Only in Arkansas, for sponsoring this video. Life's what you make it. Let's get our hands dirty.